Aloha mai kākou, a komamaita curtain call, a program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. So, when I came out on Saturday night after doing my audition for Something's Rotten at the historic Iao Theater on North Market Street in Wailuku, I saw a large group of people in front of the Phil Sabado Gallery. Curious, I moseyed over there, and Mr. Sabado told me he had given over the gallery to his daughter and other young artists for a very special exhibition. I saw inside the room a host of 20-somethings looking at the 60 12-inch by 12-inch artworks on the wall, quaffing libations, munching on pupu, and engaging in joyful conversation. Christine Sabado, Phil's wife, and the director of the gallery introduced me to their daughter, Jacklyn Sabado-Eitel, who was one of the organizers of the show. Other members include Bailey Onaga, Matthew Agcolicol, and Kūakea Yasak, all of whom were born and raised here on Maui. She told me the only restriction was the size. Everything had to be 12 by 12. We talked about the theme, which was, quote, dreams, signs, and omens, unquote. This collaborative group show invited local artists to engage with the visionary themes. They chose the theme, quote, to not only reflect a myriad of interpretations of each respective visionary concept, but to be a topic that truly everyone can engage with. The power of dreams, signs, and omens can be a critical one in setting intentions in times of change, invites imaginative realities, and engages creative narratives, unquote. The exciting thing was to look at the walls filled with new artwork by new artists. The artists we have known for so many years are exiting, and these young people will be the new Betty Hay Freelands or Wilma Nakamuras. It felt like being at the birth of something. There is a wide range of abilities, styles, and media in the show. Ms. Sabado-Eitel told me there was no juror. They wanted to give all 60 of these artists, who are mostly from UH Maui College, the opportunity to show their work without judgment. The birth of Art Maui came about when Janet Allen and the late Sandy Cotton, among others, formed the Artisans of Hawaii. It was the Co-op Gallery in Lahaina. This exhibition is reminiscent of that effort. These artists are not competing, they are sharing and cooperating. One thing I noticed is the number of sales already, and I can totally understand it. These artists are mostly all unknown, so these wise buyers might be on the ground floor of some great future careers. One of the participants who is not among the unknowns is the gallery owner, Phil Sabado, who has this spiritual oil entitled Hanau Kapui Kauvila Ikai, born as the Kauila eel living in the sea. The god Ku, the god of wars, Amakua, was the sea eel. This painting was inspired by a line 197 of the Hawaiian creation story, the Kumalipo. Next to him is his daughter Jacklyn's acrylic and India ink Dreams Comes in Waves. Notice the nature in which she portrays her vision. See if it doesn't remind you of someone close to her. This acrylic watercolor and found objects by Holly S. Paulson, Weighted Chances, is a three-dimensional work mounted on the wall. In the work we see Mauna Kahalawai, a hibiscus, a watch, a die, and a fishing weight. It is a thought-provoking work. Grant Lopez created this clever spray and acrylic paint warning sign called Ka Naka, showing a Hawaiian warrior. The intent is rather obvious. Nick Louise did this gouache and acrylic called Dream Altar. The traditional specters of death, the Grim Reaper and the Lantern Bearer, flank the plant-inhabited altar. The shade of green gives the work an overwhelmingly eerie and otherworldly quality. Paul Chris got around the restriction by mounting these three glass and stone chiclets on aluminum works together. The top one is Eyes of the Stupa, the left one on the bottom is Blue Tears, and the lower right is Marching Warriors. The eyes are piercing, and what appears to be a tear beneath each eye is in conflict with the stern stare coming from the eyes. This acrylic by Kūakea Yasak, Fish Fry, got my attention because of the excellence of the depiction of the hand holding the chopsticks. The human hand is one of the most difficult parts of the human body to depict successfully. One can determine the level of skill of an artist by how they portray a human hand. Kūakea Yasak is quite skillful. Dawn Journal mixed styles in this untitled acrylic. The animals are hyper-realistic, and the rest of the work is impressionistic. This choice draws the viewer's attention to the animals, especially the fox. He stares out from the piece in a bold, almost threatening manner. It is a brilliant choice. Monarch Incarnation is a lino-cut archival ink watercolor and gold piece by Alexis Kageyama. That almost jumps off the wall. Note the detail of the leaves forming a lei around the butterflies and the butterflies themselves. I'm not sure about the gold. I don't think it adds to the work. A mixed media work, Reception, by Amanda Michelle, shows a person in the forest. In the corners of the work are a spoon and an airplane, a lion head, and the yin and yang symbol. The person seems to be looking at the light behind the tree and poised to flee. Is it a fire? An alien spacecraft? We cannot tell. Calvin Adams' mixed media Myself Beyond Form is such multifaceted work. There are so many textures in the dominant grays, whites, and blacks. The colors blue, yellow, and red appear sparingly in the edge of the cube, in the second circle, and in the inner edge of the incomplete frame, and then there is that hole. Despite the rough draftsmanship, this work challenges the viewer from both a design and execution standpoint. I was particularly impressed by Mr. Adams' spatter technique. This acrylic on canvas by Sajent Staygold, Let Me Tell You a Story, could be a cartoon in the New Yorker. It has that feel to it. It has nostalgia written all over it, from the figure who comes from the late 30s to the early 50s, and you can see what he has in mind. A story about the Pacific Islands. Kanoi Alapa, Guidance of Ancestors, Wood Burn, and Pencils, the black layer of carbon on the visible surface of the wood is created by burning. This method originated in Japan. Look at the complexity of this design. This artist is quite accomplished. This photo, Bahai Bata, which means pregnancy, by Bianca Datiles, reminded me of Judy Chicago. She used various organic items to create a diagram of the female reproductive system. Since these items would rot, the only way to preserve the design in the cleverness and beauty of its first creation was to capture it in a photo. So well done. Haley Noelani Journal has given us this mixed media, Hali Ali'a, Memory of a Loved One. There's a poem about a flower, lots of Hawaiian sheet music, butterflies, and seabirds. Silhouettes of ferns appear as the border. There are strong black splotches around what appears to be a broken heart. The red splotches look like they could be blood. The work has both a longing and a violence in it. It is an arresting work. Keone Akane shows in this acrylic and colored pencil work the corner of a doorway and a moth on the wood, but the loved ones are in the wood around the door. With You Always appears to be an homage to a series of relatives who have passed. Ms. Akane depicts very happy, contented folks showing her affection for them and making the viewer want to know them. The rendering of the moth is superb. This 3D wall hanging by Dulcie Varragon is another work that calls the viewer to stop and examine. Its title is Wish in the Abyss. What is the wish? Is it in the cage in the center of the work? Is the cage the abyss? Or is the abyss outside the cage where the moon lurks with a portion of the horoscope? Is that Swiss cheese in the cage? So many questions are posed by this intriguing piece. You will have to go and visit the gallery to get the full impact of Sean Baba's mixed media work, The Writing on the Wall. Because it is glass covered, it was impossible to get a good photo. It shows the second tower of the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, just before the second plane kamikazed into it. Where I Can Breathe is this magnificent acrylic wave by Tina A. Puck. She captures the translucency of the water magnificently. You can almost feel its power. If you listen closely, you'll hear its roar. Interestingly, she has a forest of bare trees in the wave. She is someone to watch. There are 60 works in this show. I only was able to discuss 20 of them. I am sure you will see many others you will want to engage with. The Sabado Art Gallery is located at 38 North Market Street, Wailuku, Monday, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. This exhibition runs until April 29th. Heli on up to Wailuku in the morning, check out the show, then go for lunch at 62 Marquette. You can bring your own beer and wine there, and the food is great. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Mahalo nui loa for tuning in. I'm Paul James Brown. Ahui ho.